why it is impossible to maintain sobriety without attending a church and being hooked up to a local church. That's what I want to answer this morning. Colossians 1:21 through 23 reads, "And you who were once alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works." Now, I don't think there's a better scripture to describe me in addiction. Wicked works. My mind continually thinking about how to get the next pill. My mind continually thinking about sexual perversion. Yet now he has reconciled in the body of his flesh through death to present you holy and blameless and above reproach in his sight. Man, I love that. Holy. As jacked up as I've been, the number of mistakes that I made to present me as holy and blameless. That's crazy, man. Above reproach in his sight. I may be a reproach to some people, but his opinion matters more. But verse 23 says, "If indeed you continue in the faith, grounded and steadfast, and are not moved away from the hope of the gospel which you heard, which was preached to every creature under heaven, of which I, Paul, became a minister." So that's a big if there. You have to understand that your attack is from three fronts. The first thing is we have a propensity to sin. We have a desire, an innate desire, a fallen nature that stays with us. Our desire, now, we overcome the spiritual curse of death, but the physical curse of death remains with us. How do I know that? Everybody dies. Everybody gets sick. So as I look at this attack, I realize that my flesh has a desire to move from satisfying the flesh to gratifying the flesh. I remember when I had my shoulder surgery back a year ago, and a little over a year ago, and the doctor, I thought I could do it without any pain medicine, and he gave me 6 Percocet a day, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. But as my shoulder got better, I would find myself waiting till the next time to take it, and sometimes I wasn't hurting. So I had to realize that my desire for that euphoric opiate feeling was still inside of me. After all these years of being clean, it was still there. I still had a desire to get high. That's my flesh. Then I look at this world system. The world this world system, the kingdoms of this world do not belong to God. They are not godly. I don't care what somebody tells you. When Satan took Jesus to the pinnacle of the mountain and offered him the kingdoms of the world, is because it is his. The world tells us to do what? Tells us to get high, to just to live a completely and total messed up life, always luring us into addiction, always luring us into sin. We see in Hollywood, fornication, sexual sin has pushed us. We see in the music industry that addiction and riding down an old back road with a good cold beer and a girl on my side, man, alcoholism is the worst addiction of all. It destroys. It destroys. It's not okay if you've had a problem with any kind of addiction to have a drink. It's not okay. But we see that pushed at us. And then the third attack is from the enemy. It said that Satan is our adversary. He is and it says if we're a friend with the world, we're at enmity or an enemy of God. We have to understand that when Lucifer and 1/3 of the angels were kicked out of the heaven, they come here. This is their home now, this world. In another realm that we cannot see exists these persons without bodies that are attacking you. Man, I talk to so many people in addiction that I've seen strange things. We've cast so many demons out of people that have been caught up in addiction. It will blow your mind. So my flesh wants to do bad. The world tells me to do bad. And then the enemy, persons without bodies, unclean spirits, demons, are constantly laying traps for me. And you think you can somehow withstand that onslaught without surrounding yourself with a body of believers to pray for you? Do you think you can sit on the sidelines in the middle of this war and do nothing to help other people? That God has pulled you out of a ditch, out of the ditch of despair, and you think somehow you can just go on and be with your life and not serve and pull other people? Let me tell you something. The devil's coming for you. He's coming for you. And if you don't have yourself surrounded by a group of believers, you cannot fight him. I cannot withstand the onslaught of darkness without being submitted unto God. People say resist the devil and he'll flee. That's half of the verse. The first part says submit yourself unto God. Submitting yourself unto God is I am the bride of Christ. I do what my groom tells me. Jesus said, get hooked up to a local body. He said, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together, as the manner of some is, even much more importantly, as we see this day approaching. So I don't want you to be discouraged. I want you to be encouraged. There is safety in a multitude of counselors. It said, confess your faults one to another so that you may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. You're going through stuff. You need to be on the altar. You need to break yourself, humble yourself. More important than your kids' ball game, more important than your Sunday afternoon trips, more important than hunting, fishing, more important than your job, your career, your paycheck, is you coming to church. I'm going to tell you emphatically, you cannot stay clean. You cannot and you will not stay clean without being hooked up to a local body of believers. I'm telling darkness is coming for you. I'm talking to somebody. Darkness is coming for you. God bless you. I hope y'all have a good day.